Hello and welcome to the Spirit Safe. My name's Rob. Thank you very much for joining me. A couple of weeks ago I did a video of my first Kentucky straight bourbon, which was the Buffalo Trace Kentucky straight bourbon. I enjoyed it very much, as you can see, because the bottle is now empty. So that opened up a new avenue to me, because I'd never tried or never had a bottle of a Kentucky straight bourbon before. So I thought, you know, let's invest in a couple of these. So I went out and bought this small bottle of Woodford Reserve, also a Kentucky straight bourbon. So I will pour a glass of that. I will let you know my thoughts on it. It won't be a full review, guys, because the only thing I've got to compare it to is the Buffalo Trace. So whereas with the Scotch I've got a lot more experience and I think I can tell you a lot more, with the Buffalo Trace I will just, with the Woodford Reserve I will just pour a glass and tell you what comes to mind, and then I'll tell you, would I buy a full bottle of this Woodford Reserve again, or would I buy the Buffalo Trace if you had a gun to my head. This bottle, I can't remember, it's a small 375ml bottle. A full 750ml bottle of the Woodford Reserve comes in at 45 Canadian dollars. The Buffalo Trace comes in at 40 Canadian dollars plus tax. Woodford Reserve, interestingly, has got a very high corn content. So Kentucky straight bourbon has to be at least 51%. This, I believe, is over 70%, so very, very sweet. And there is that sweetness on the nose. Feels like it's going to be smooth, not as earthy as the Buffalo Trace, and not as cough sweety as the Buffalo Trace. And there's real kind of candied orange peel note to it, so there's kind of a citrus note that cuts through. Kind of red fruits and a hint of menthol, but not quite as strong as it was on the Buffalo Trace. And I'm a bit of a sucker for those Australian, those bags of fruity Australian licorice that you can buy from Poundland if you're in the UK. There's a hint of that as well, a hint of red licorice. And it's sort of ashy as well. There's a real barrel char or charcoaly note to it. Yeah, it's quite pleasant, but it feels slightly more unrestrained, even though it's got that sweeter note to it. It does feel slightly like the alcohol is there more. I mean, it's got 0.2% more alcohol, which I wouldn't expect to be noticeable, but hint of lemon oil. On the palate, it's very nice, very spicy in the mid palate. Quite well balanced. Kind of quite earthy vanilla coming in. On the finish, a lot more eucalyptus. Certainly drinkable, and it would be a nice gift as well. Nice. There's a sweetness there. The cough syrup note is more on the palate than on the nose. Certainly there. It does feel a little more unrestrained than the Buffalo Trace. despite the fact that it's at a higher price. I believe it's aged for around 7 years. Yeah, you know, I like it. This isn't a full review, by the way. I just don't know enough about Kentucky straight bourbons to tell you this is good or this isn't so good. But for my money, I think I would probably buy the Buffalo Trace again, and we'll probably do another one because it's empty. Yeah, for me it would be the Buffalo Trace. I don't know whether it was just that was the first Kentucky straight bourbon that I'd tasted and it's become the benchmark for me. I don't know whether I'm completely ridiculous. It might be that there are bourbon connoisseurs out there who say, you're absolutely mad. Of course you should go for the Woodford Reserve. And they might well be right. I'm just telling you my view as a Scotch drinker. I've enjoyed the Woodford Reserve. I would probably buy it again. But put a gun to my head and ask me to pick which one to buy again, it's got to be the Buffalo Trace for me. Okay, short one this week. I'm just going to enjoy this as I chat to you a bit more. What are the plans for 2017? Because this might be the last video that I make in 2016. I think we'll carry on in similar vein. Obviously your thoughts and comments are welcome. We'll carry on in similar vein, but there are actually some other whiskies that I want us to learn about together. So the Scotch single malts, I know enough about them to be able to give a reasonably intelligent view on whether or not they are good or not so good. But there are other kinds of whiskies that I'm keen to try, and I want us to learn about them together actually. Traditional Irish pot still whiskey and Canadian whiskey. Any suggestions, please let me know. I'm looking to invest in a traditional Irish pot still and a couple of Canadian whiskies as well to try, because those are two areas that those are two kinds of whiskey that I've never got involved in before, and it's about time. I think it would be educational for me to do it, and as I say, we can learn about it together. There will be more Scotch single malts from all over Scotland. I've got a reasonable collection here yet to review, so no danger of running out there. There will be Irish whiskey and there will be some American whiskey as well. Japanese whiskey, I like it, but the availability in Canada is very, very poor. So there will be one or two. I've got one on the shelf. I've got two on the shelf for 2017. And also I'm thinking possibly some videos, my views around trends in the industry, things like chill filtration, no age statement. But let me have your thoughts. It's been wonderful getting to know everybody throughout 2016. It's been wonderful getting to know about new things like the Kentucky straight bourbon. Ooh, a lot more vanilla now, it's settled down a little bit. Okay guys, possibly my last video of 2016, so I will leave you with these good wishes for the holiday season, and I hope 2016 was a success for you, and 2017 all the very best. Thank you very much everyone. Bye bye.